All right, let's move topics into Artifact, CloneX, and there might be a little bit of a hint towards who the next Artifact collaborator is going to be. And keep in mind, Artifact was purchased by Nike. That was kind of one of the big announcements they had shortly after the CloneX mint, and it propelled them into another stratosphere. Like literally, just everything changed the second that Nike announcement came out. It appears that LeBron James might have something to do with CloneX, and this CloneX market has a pretty good breakdown of it. How one particular NFT was changed. The hairstyle of it was the chosen one crown. That was often what LeBron was referred to in high school, coming out of or going into the NBA out of high school. I even remember having the Slam magazine cover, or maybe it was Sports Illustrated actually, where he was on the cover of it holding the ball and it said the chosen one on there. So that has been updated, along with the mouth trait has been changed to the LBJ Beard. I don't think I need to tell you what LBJ stands for, but if you do need a hint, it's LeBron James. Very interesting. There's some clear pathways to this collaboration, obviously, with Nike being not only owning the CloneX collection, but also being a lifetime sponsor of LeBron James in a deal that's rumored to be over $1 billion. No concrete financials has ever come out of it, but a lifetime deal with LeBron James. LeBron featured now in that Metaverses game. He did Space Jam, which was very kind of Metaverse centric. He has a absolutely massive, gigantic following, particularly in a younger demographic. It seems like a match made in heaven, and it looks like this is going to go down. I don't know what this means. Can you pull up the price action on CloneX? Is this really grabbing people's attention, or
Let's see.
They dropped to like 6, didn't they? Well, I mean, like before this was announced, I think they had dropped to like 6. So I'm curious on where they're at now.
I think you actually want to just search for CloneX, right?
Is it? Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
We're thinking Artifact.
yeah. Artifact is the There you go.
Yeah, just under 6, 5.9.
So not really having a whole lot of movement here, and that tweet that I'm looking at now, not a ton of engagement on it too. So, just curious. Maybe there is something there.
I feel like that is like a terrifying sign, to be honest. They just collabed with LeBron James, and there's like not.
Well, this is speculation, right? There's no announcement surrounding this.
Oh,
That is just a speculative Twitter account that is saying like,
Yeah.
"Hey, there's some signs here." I guess I should have prefaced that. My
that
apologies.
was in the impression.
I wanna look
I
at
mean,
this.
even though
Yeah, I have to agree. If like a rumor like this doesn't really spark much, like
it's alarming.
it is a little.
But I'm
alarming.
looking at CloneX, the CloneX 7968. Like it absolutely has the LBJ Beard 1 of 1. It's not. This isn't like just somebody making up something on Twitter for some engagement farming. Like it does say chosen one crown.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, fuck. Maybe.
Even CloneX just did their what do they called it? Their physical, or I don't know. They did like physical clothing and traits and digital traits for their NFTs. So like people could essentially upgrade their NFT with a article of clothing, and then they get like the equivalent physical piece as well, or something like that. I'm not exactly
Yep.
sure. I don't follow CloneX too closely. I feel like maybe just the hype is not there for CloneX. People just the interest.
Well, this is an interesting conversation too, because we saw what Steph Curry did for the Bored Ape collection, and I mean, Bored Apes were already kind of solidifying themselves in the NFT world as being important, but Steph bought an ape and hopped into their Discord, and it actually really did like bring them to another level, right? That was the first one. Now we've seen countless celebrities jump in after that. Post Malone, like, didn't really move the needle. They're already at 125 ETH at the time, and Post Malone's huge, but it's not like the majority of Post Malone's followers can now all of a sudden go and spend $500,000 on an NFT, right? So I think in terms of the influence that celebrity can have on the Bored Ape ecosystem, they've almost kind of capped out, you know? Like it's not like Madonna jumping in is going to really make a big difference, even though she's got, 100 billion followers. My apologies.
I mean, like two things on that one. The first, like the stigma still of anti NFT and that it's a scam is still very real, but also like, man, the world is rough right now. The discretionary and disposable incomes are depleted. Like people are trying to survive right now. So I don't think many celebrities are going to get their followers to buy an NFT. But also, it makes perfect sense for Nike to kind of lean into their asset talent pool, so to speak, and to get them to potentially, push their, heavily invested NFT project to another level potentially. I could see them definitely tapping on more of um, their I hate to call them assets, but I mean that's what they are. Their assets to, try to pump CloneX or some other kind of NFT project.
Yeah, Dirty, you got any thoughts on this? I know you're not a huge basketball fan, but Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean,
Would Lewis
I think-
Hamilton buying a CloneX persuade you to also buy a CloneX?
I mean, I guess I'm just more surprised that this isn't really moving stuff off of the rumor. I think I guess it makes sense that people are probably going to be a little bit more particular, like a little bit more careful these days, and probably would rather buy off an announcement than a rumor. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm glad they went with LBJ Beard instead of neck beard trait. That sounds a lot cooler. So,
It does sound cooler.
there's that.
Well, okay, so let's go around the table here and talk about what celebrity would be a mover, not necessarily influence you, the DGen trader, to buy something, but what would you think would be a really bullish signal for a project that's like kind of in the CloneX, or like let's say Doodles or something? If somebody just jumped in, big name celebrity, that would maybe even kick off an NFT bull run, because I think that if tomorrow or next week CloneX was like, check out LeBron, it is going to make a difference.
I would say Elon Musk.
That's actually
Long
if
rumored
Elon
to
went
be a
full-
big Bored Ape holder.
Yeah, if he went full DGen
Yes.
though, and just like his Twitter feed was just NFTs, I
Yeah.
think it would absolutely kick off NFTs all over again.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
The cult of
that's
Elon.
not where my head would go, but that's a great answer to that question because it's tough. Like if Tom Holland bought, a freaking something, it's like, is that cool? Is that like a big deal? Yeah, but like Tom Holland's fans are like me and a bunch of 12-year-old girls. Like,
Yeah.
So it's just like what's
Do
gonna
you want that edited out or no?
It would definitely have to be someone crypto-centric because like 12-year-old girls and dirty are not going to move the needle. Like,
Well, it's a great point too, because Elon has probably made a lot of people so much money off Tesla that they could afford to, and Dogecoin, they could afford to actually jump an ape in there. And I mean, there is a little bit of a degen element to that as well. Yeah, interesting. It's a hard question simply because Drake drives a Bugatti or something like that, right? And Drake being seen in a Bugatti doesn't all of a sudden spur a ton of sales of Bugatti, because frankly, if you have enough money to own one, you've bought one if you wanted it anyways, right? So I don't know, like if I was looking at a celebrity to buy a doodle and like expect a huge pump from it, oh man, I kind of put myself on the spot there with
dude, side note, like Porsche is going to do an IPO and I'm low-key super excited about it.
Porsche is doing an IPO?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to make money off of it by any means, but I'm still probably going to buy some just for the novelty factor.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm just like, I completely stumped myself with that question. Do you have any thoughts on like, oh, you said Elon, Dirty, like anyone else you think?
I'm trying to think, to be honest. I went to like
like Cristiano Ronaldo would be one that I would have thought, but then
Yeah.
like Cristiano Ronaldo kind of did some crypto stuff, and everyone was like,
I was gonna say, yeah,
"Oh,
because like there's like So Rare and a couple of those other ones that are like very much NBA Top Shot-ish, but like
mm-hmm.
again, that's just not most people are not daily crypto users or
Yeah,
following it at all. They would have such a hurdle
yeah." And
to get it just to get in.
I think the atmosphere is not like on right now for it either. So
That's where I'm at. Is I think that it's a tough question to answer for the current like
Mhm.
kind of state of the space. Last year, when like NFT was the most searched word of 2021 on Google, like that was a perfect year,
yeah,
in my opinion, to like release a bunch of celebrities and stuff like that. When people are curious and trying to find out about it. Now everybody, like I was talking to my neighbor, she's she's asking me, she's noticed that I work from home now, and she's kind of asked me what I do, and I mentioned that I do NFTs full time and whatnot. She's like, "How's that going now?" kind of thing. Like people are aware, and I was like, "Well, it's definitely like not like the same." I mean, I'm pretty sure she holds some. She's an Olympian, so she had like some NFT
the
collaboration
humble
or something.
brag over here, eh?
Well,
Oh,
I was
my neighbor.
trying to tie it into why she had an NFT like collaboration that she did at one part. So I think she's familiar with the space, but yeah, I just don't think the tone is right to start dropping a bunch of celebrities into the market right now.
The more I think about the LeBron thing, the more curious it is to me. I think we all know that he is in the twilight of his career. Last year was the first year that universally he wasn't regarded as one of the top 5 NBA players. Like it really was, like he was still an incredible talent, obviously, but really started to see a little bit of a decline in there. Now LeBron does that until the playoffs, and obviously they didn't make the playoffs, so who knows? But he's in his 20th NBA season, and this is a guy who is incredibly focused on legacy and brand and all of these things that will transcend into a life after basketball, which is quickly approaching. Why
He's
wouldn't?
fine.
Oh, I know financially
Yeah.
he's fine.
Yeah.
He will always
He
be
doesn't
fine.
care
His
anymore.
family will be fine. But
Yeah.
now it's kind of like Kobe was doing this too before his untimely passing. It's what
That's
am I
true.
doing that's going to be bigger than what I did in basketball after? King of the
Mhm.
Metaverse kind of sounds like a thing.
Might have to fight Zuckerberg for that one.
I don't think it would be much of a fight, honestly. I think people
Yeah,
like
just throw
LeBron a
out some
lot
sweet
more.
baby rays on the ground and
Not
Zucker.
owner of the metaverse, but just king of said
No, I
metaverse,
know. I'm
right?
half
Like,
teasing.
yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
imagine anyone liking or following or backing Zuckerberg, but
I think that there's an interesting narrative there, and whether or not there's much substance to this Twitter thread, which looks like there is, simply because go check the CloneX out. CloneX
yeah.
number 7968. Like it's right there. You could see it.
Wait, so
It's owned by Artifact.
but they just bought it, correct?
No, it's always they bought it 7 months ago for
Okay,
42
so
ETH.
hear me out. Is that not weird that you can just buy it and then give yourself one of one trades? Like,
Also a great point.
yeah, like I mean,
I didn't even.
who else
We're talking about all of this. They're just like editing their NFTs to be one of ones.
Well,
yeah, like how is
yeah,
that?
they're
I mean,
not.
they are never allowed to like sell or give that away ever, in my opinion, because that is just so not okay. Like everybody else is like, why the fuck don't I have one of one trades?
Yeah,
Like,
LeBron comes in. Yeah, you see that with Bored Apes. Justin Bieber picks like the lonely ape and pays 1.5 million for it. And they're just like, yeah, we're gonna grab this one and put a LeBron James beard. Now, granted, they did pay 42.069 nice ETH for it 7 months ago. So it's not like
that
this
was
was
like
a
2x
freebie.
floor though. That's not one of one pricing. That's like 2x floor pricing. Back in 7 months ago. I don't know. I find that way more newsworthy at this point now that I'm thinking about it. That I just think that that is like so not supposed to be allowed.
Some projects do lock their metadata, and others just kind of leave it open.
I
So,
get that, but like
no, I
to
understand
like
that.
for them to buy it and then give themselves one of one traits. I understand that they're probably not trying to do anything malicious, but on paper that sounds so sus.
I mean, but also like their whole goal was to give their avatars the ability to change their clothes and all that stuff. Like I think they announced that like early on. So that shouldn't be that shocking.
Oh, I didn't know that. Sounds a lot more fun when you don't say that, though.
Sorry.
Yeah, really just rained on Dirty Milk's parade here. He comes up with like such a great point. Drip's like, yeah, they were always doing that though. God.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, Artifact has always been into like fashion and shoes and all that fun stuff. So like it was,
Yeah, I don't know. I just it sounds weird when on paper, in my opinion, but
fair enough.
27 votes on this little poll that he put there. Artifact's next collab. Yeah. But people have spoken. 43% say it's the next collab.
People have spoken.